In this video today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about a top sirloin cap, also known as a culotte steak or most commonly known as the picanha. This cut of beef is very reasonably priced, and if cooked correctly, is absolutely delicious. I prefer it medium rare, but no lie, guys, this is one of those steaks you can pick up from Costco for like $50, and you get two in the pack, and you can slice those each into about 4 steaks. So for $50, you get 8 delicious steaks. This is one of those cuts of beef that's super important to fully understand in order to properly maximize your price to quantity ratios. So let's start from the top. I'll teach you guys everything. You know what's up. It's your boy Saucy Rossi, the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. Check out this AAA Canadian beef for $46. I got these 2 large hunks and they are looking fantastic. So the first thing I'm going to do is simply remove them from their cryovac and give them just a quick look over. And as you can see there, we definitely have like a gash in the fat cap, but that's not the end of the world because we are going to be trimming that down anyways. So we're going to go ahead with some paper towel and simply pat these dry to begin. We want to make sure we get all that liquid and moisture off the outside, and then we want to find how the grain is running. And as you can see here, this has a pristine fat cap on it other than that gash, but otherwise it's a nice thick fat cap and it's looking fantastic. You can see there's a little bit of marbling inside of this beef as well, and that's the direction the grain is running. That's going to be really important. We're going to follow those grains when we slice our steaks, okay? So this is the other piece of picanha here, and I'm just kind of checking it out, finding where the grains are. And now I've grabbed a nice sharp knife and I'm going to go ahead and slice myself a beautiful steak. As you can see here, I'm going about 1.5 inches thick, roughly, 2 full fingers of thickness. And all you're going to do is you're going to slice this with the grain. The idea of cutting it with the grain is because when you actually cook this steak and eat it and slice into it at that point, that's when you will be slicing against the grain, which will make it a nice, tender, juicy piece of meat to bite into. So here is our steak we're going to be cooking today that I sliced off. I trimmed down that fat cap just a little bit, and bud, this steak is looking fantastic. So to start off, we're going super simple. I'm just using some South Shore sea salt on this, and we're going to make sure to get a nice coating of that flaky salt on there. You can see there, this salt looks absolutely magnificent. And I'm going to go ahead with a liberal layer of salt onto this steak, and we're just going to let it chill in the refrigerator with that salt mixture on there for anywhere between about an hour and 2.5 hours. Now, as I already mentioned, we want to liberally season this. And what that actually means is getting a really good coating on all sides with that salt. We're only starting with salt to begin with. And what you're going to do is you're going to leave this in the refrigerator, like I said. Then, once it's done resting in the refrigerator, you're going to pull it out and we're going to pat it dry and make sure to wipe off any huge, large chunks of salt that are sitting around there. Any moisture that we have on this steak is going to kill any opportunity we have to sear it off. So as you can see there, I didn't wipe off all the salt, just the huge, huge chunks that were remaining. And yeah, this is looking fantastic. So I'm going to hit it with some cracked black pepper. And that's everything. We already got that saltiness in there. That cracked black pepper is fresh on the go there. Let's go out to the charcoal grill. Personally, I love using my Napoleon charcoal grill for steaks like this. I use a bed of Kingsford charcoal briquets and I set it up for 2-zone cooking. Now, if you've ever heard of a reverse sear, that's what we're doing today. By putting it on indirect heat to begin, I'm letting it come up to temperature. I'm going to bring it up to about 105 degrees before I move it over directly above that coal bed. A lot of people will tell you to let it go to about 110, 120 before moving it over onto the coal bed. Personally, I find that will end up with an overcooked steak. I like moving it over closer to 105. I find that gives you lots of opportunity to get nice sear marks on there, but also not overcook the steak. And I mean, if you get those sear marks, you can always just move it back over onto indirect heat and bring it up to the right temp if it's not cooked enough. So it's up to you how you want to do this. But I always recommend starting on indirect heat, then moving over the coals. We're going to start it over the coals, just getting each side with some delicious grill marks. But then once you've got some good grill marks on there, we're going to go ahead and stand it up on its side. We're going to let that fat cap drip right down into those flames, and we're going to let those flames come up and just kiss this steak. It's really important here that you don't overdo this part. Try not to let the flames kiss the steak for more than periods of 10 to 15 seconds. That can start to really add intense charring to the steak and just not be enjoyable. So what I'm always doing here is just monitoring it. You're allowed to watch as you cook, guys. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't even matter if you're in a Canadian winter like me. That high heat charcoal is going to easily cook this steak off, whether you have that lid open or closed. Now, as you can see here, I hit my internal temperature I wanted to pull it at, which was 125, allowing it to rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Brought it up to 130 degrees internal. So I'm expecting a nice medium rare with this steak. I'm really hoping for that. I got my fingers crossed, and I'm thinking this looks absolutely delicious. I mean, it's nice and juicy. Oh man, those grill marks look fantastic. That mahogany color is just present. It's what I want, guys. So we're going to go ahead. We'll slice into this. And as you can see here, this is a nice, juicy, tender cross section of some steak. Like, this looks fantastic, guys. I'm really excited to dive into this and just devour it. Oh, buddy, juicy Lucy. This is amazing. And a nice grilled steak like this is really fantastic. I mean, that $46 price point and getting 8 big steaks out of that, that's fantastic. That's like a $5 steak. That is a win. Holy cow. Man, oh man, just check this piece of meat out. And here's the best part. Steak is absolutely delicious, but you can bring it one step further with an unbelievable homemade chimichurri. And you're going to see that here in just a moment after I show off this last little piece. But guys, I'm not exaggerating. This steak was fantastic, very reasonably priced, and simple to cook. If you're like me and love barbecue and simple recipes, make sure you like and subscribe. My name is Saucy Rossi. I'm the Canadian king of backyard barbecue. I'm always out here making delicious food, trying to show you simple recipes that you can cook at home yourself. So don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Hit those buttons below. Leave me a comment if you think this video was a good steak recipe video. And if you want to see anything else, also, leave me a comment. I'm always happy and excited to hear from my community. And if you're really into it, make sure you go check out my community called the Rub Club, a place you can subscribe and help my channel grow. Thanks again, take care, and stay safe.